Students, this is a new lesson, system of particles and rotational motion, 7th lesson in our textbook. Already we discussed about the point mass and the system of particles in motion as straight line itself. So what is this point mass? Size of the object is much lesser than the distance travelled. So this is point A, this is point B, and one ant is moving from here to here. The total distance travelled by the ant, let us say 100 meters. But what is the size of the ant? The size of the ant is, let us say this is 3 millimeters. So when compared to the size of this ant object, the distance travelled is too high. This is actually 3 into 10 power minus 3 meters, but this is 100 meters. So when compared to the distance travelled, size of the ant is much lesser. So that's why ant is said to be a point mass. Similarly, if you take the size of the object is much greater than the distance travelled. Let us say ant is travelling from C to D. The distance travelled is 1 micrometer, that is 10 power minus 6 meter, and the size of the ant is, we know, this is 3 into 10 power minus 3. If you compare these two, the size of the object is 3 millimeter, distance travelled is micrometer. So size of the object is bigger than the distance travelled. Here ant is said to be a body. That means every body can be considered as point mass as or the body, that only depends upon the distance travelled. Here distance travelled is much lesser than the size of the object. That's why here ant is said to be body. Similarly, if you take one train between two stations, this is station 1, this is station 2. When the train starts from station 1 to station 2, when it travels, let us say the distance between these two is 1 kilometer, and the size of this train is, let us say this is nearly 100 meters. If the size of the train is 100 meters, distance travelled is 1 kilometer. So this distance travelled is greater than the size of this one, but this is not much greater. But if you take the size of the distance between these two is 1000 kilometers, but only size of the train is only 100 meters, then it is said to be a point object. So here train is said to be a point object if the size of the train is much lesser than the distance travelled. Meters, this is 100 meters. Let us say this is only half kilometer. So 500 meters. So these are comparable values. Almost this is in meter, this is in meter, and only 5 times greater. Much greater than means it should be more than 100 times. Then we can say that train as a point object. But here in this case, train should be considered as a point mass only. But if it is much greater than this one, let us say like this, then train is said to be a point object. Now, we studied these types of motion also in the same lesson. There we studied about rectilinear, circular, oscillatory, translatory, rotatory motions. So what is this rectilinear motion? If a point mass moves along a straight line, so this is a point mass moves along a straight line, then the motion is said to be rectilinear, along line, linear motion, rectilinear motion. So just one, if you take the translatory motion, this is also motion of a body along a straight line. This is a motion of a body along a straight line, but this is a motion of a point object. So what is meant by rectilinear motion? Motion of a particle, motion of a, best one is point mass along a straight line is called rectilinear motion. Motion of a body this is not particle or point mass, that is body along a straight line. Suppose if you take a bus is moving on a road. So this is the bus and this is the driver D. So these are the passengers. This is the engine, this is headlamp. Okay, so if you consider this one, when it is moving along a straight line, then bus is said to have translatory motion but not rectilinear motion. If it is a point object, we should call it as rectilinear motion, but as it is a body, so what is a body? Body is the collection of, this is a collection of point masses. So what are the point masses here? Here if you see the passengers, the engine, so the passengers, engine, driver, horn, seats, conductor, headlamps, these are all the particles of this body. So the collection of all these is known as a body. So if this body is moving along a straight line, then we call it as a translatory motion. Now, what is this circular motion? Whenever a body moves along a circular path about a fixed point with equidistance from this one, about a fixed point, that means this is radius, this is radius. So if a particle or a point mass is moving like this, then we call it a circular motion. Already studied this in motion a plane as well as laws of motion. So here this will have centripetal force, which is going to be A is equal to V square by R. So this is centripetal acceleration. That means acceleration of a particle or point mass in circular motion is called centripetal acceleration, which is going by V square by R. Now, what is this rotatory motion? In rotation motion, here angular velocity omega is constant. Now, here in rotatory motion, if a body moves, let us say if you take a top. So, if a top is rotating or a fan is rotating, if a fan is rotating, that means different particles will have different, that means describe different circular motions here. Now, if you take, let us say this is the fan, and if you take point 1, 2, 3, 4, different points on the blade, the first particle will move, let us say it is moving in this direction with angular velocity omega. So, this first particle will move, describe a circular path here. This is the circular path that describes the first particle. Now, the second particle will move like this, third particle will describe this much, fourth particle like this. So, here each and every particle will describe circular motion only, but if it is a body, then we call it as rotational motion. That means different particles of the body will describe different circular paths, and as together it is rotating about a fixed line. So that means that line is passing through the body. Here you see this one, the particle is moving like this, but this is the axis of rotation about which it is rotating or moving or circulating or revolving, but the axis is not passing through the particle. This is the particle. Now let us say you are moving in a circular park on our bike. That means if you are riding your bike along a circular path, you are moving in a circular path about a fixed point. That fixed point is not passing through your body or your bike, but here that fixed point about which all these particles are moving are passing through the body itself. If that fixed point, that we call it as axis of rotation, is passing through the body, if the axis of rotation passing through the body, then the motion is said to be rotational motion. Earth rotates about its own axis. So in that itself we are telling the earth is rotating about its own axis. That means the axis is passing through the earth, that is through north and south pole. This is the geometric axis. So earth is rotating about its own axis. This is a rotatory motion. At the same time, it is revolving around the sun. So here sun is the point about which this earth is rotating. So the line which is passing to the sun is the axis of rotation. So earth has both circular motion as well as rotational motion. And the last motion is oscillatory motion. This we will study in the next lesson, that is oscillations and waves at the end of our first PUC. So this is a to and fro motion. System of particles means a collection of point masses, but a system of particles or body can be divided into further rigid body and a non-rigid body. This is a rigid body. This is non-rigid, or we can call it as a flexible body. So what is meant by rigid body? Previously, the old name of this lesson was rigid body dynamics. So first of all, what is this rigid body? A rigid body is a body whose relative positions of the particles does not changes by the application of force. Now, let me take a body here. This is a rigid body. So these are the particles 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So these are the different particles of this body. So this is a body. These are the different point masses. Now, by the application of force, if you apply force, if the relative positions of the body does not change, if the relative positions of the body, relative positions of the particles of the body, particles of the body does not change by the application of force, then it is called a rigid body. That means here in this case, if I apply some force on this one, by the application of force, each and every particle will experience that force. So first particle will experience force, second particle will experience force, third particle will experience force, fourth particle will experience force. So all particles experience a similar force. All particles experience similar force. Due to this, all particles will get acceleration. Whenever force is applied, each and every particle will get acceleration. Due to this acceleration, each and every particle will get the same velocity and they will travel same distance. So let me draw the same diagram here. So this is the new position of this body after some time. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12. You can see the two diagrams here. The relative position. So who is the relative for this sixth point mass or particle? Relative means which are in contact with each other. So 2 is a relative, 7 is a relative, 5 is a relative, 10 is a relative. So these are the relative particles or relative point mass. Here, who is the relatives in this direction? 2 only, 7 only, 10 only, 5 only. That means the relatives has not changed. Then this body is said to be rigid body. So once again, if the relative positions, that means if you take any particle in this body, the relatives of this one, that means the particles which are in contact with this one previously will never change, then the body is said to be a rigid body. So whenever force is applied, all the particles experience the same force and they will get the same acceleration and they will get the same velocity and they will travel, they will have same displacement. You can see this one. What is the distance traveled by particle 1 here? So this is from here to here, this is x. So what is the distance traveled by 11th particle? Now if you take 11 and 11, this is also x only. That means the displacement of each and every particle will be same. If 8th particle travels this much, then 5th particle will also travel the same distance. Why? Because the relative positions are not changing here. So all the particles of a body will have equal displacements by the application of force, and as they have equal displacement to travel this much distance, every particle will take the same time. So the ratio between displacement and time is called velocity. So each and every particle will gain same velocity. Previously the system or the body is at rest. Now when it is moving, all the particles will have velocity. That means each and every particle will get the same acceleration because every particle experiences same force. So what is the rigid body? All the particles experience similar force, similar acceleration, similar velocity, similar displacement. Remember students, this is only if the body is moving along a straight line. So we can write this only if the body has a translatory motion. If it is rotatory motion, then we cannot use this sentence. So only for translatory motion. This is only for translatory motion only. Now, what is this non-rigid body? Whenever a force is applied on a body, if the relative positions of the body changes by the application of force. So let me take a small object here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if you apply some force here, F dash. So here, if the position of the particles changes with due to the application of force. So this is a particle 1, this is a particle 5, this is 6, this is 3, this is 8, 9, 7, 3 and 2. Here what is happening? The positions of the particles has changed. Suppose if you disturb water and if you apply some force on the water which in a beaker, the positions of the water molecules will change because water is not rigid. This is flexible or non-rigid. Similarly, not only water, here you see first particle traveled this much distance, the displacement x. What is the sixth particle? So this is also x. Okay, but what about the ninth one? This is less than that. That means different particles will have different displacement. When the displacement is different in the same time, the velocities are different, displacements are different, velocities are different. When velocity is different, acceleration is different. Why? Because different particles are experiencing different forces. So here the relative positions of the particles will change, or sometimes the relative positions may not change, but the intermolecular distance or interatomic distance will change. See here, what is the distance between these two particles? 5 and 6. Let us say this is 1 micrometer. So let me take this as 1 micrometer, 1 micron, that is 10 power minus 6. Here, what is the distance between 5 and 6? This is also 10 power minus 6 meters only. The interatomic distance will not change. The relative positions will not change, and the interatomic or molecular distance will not change for a rigid body. So for rigid body, interatomic or molecular distance remains the same for rigid body. But here you see, the first particle and the second particle are separated by this much distance. Let us say 10 power minus 6 only. This is the first particle, this is the second particle. The interatomic distance increased here. So let us say 3 into 10 power minus 6. Similarly, this is 9 and 7. Here 9 and 7 is more, but 9 and 7 is less. That means here interatomic or intermolecular distance varies by the application of force. So for rigid body, what are the properties? The relative positions of the particles does not change by the application of force. The interatomic or intermolecular distance remains the same, and each and every particle will experience the same force, and each and every particle will experience the same acceleration, each and every particle will experience same velocity, and each and every particle will have same displacement if the body has a translatory motion. But for the same translatory motion for a non-rigid body, the first point, relative positions will not same. So this is the fifth particle. 2, 6, 4, 8 are the relatives. Where is the fifth particle? Here. For fifth particle, 1, 3, 4 are the relatives here. So here there is no relative particle. This is the air molecule. So the relative positions will change. So relative positions will change. Relative positions of the particles or the molecules or this one. Relative position changes. Then interatomic or molecular distance. Interatomic or molecular distance varies, and each and every particle will not experience same force, same acceleration, same velocity, same displacement. These are wrong. That means they will not experience same force, same acceleration, same velocity, same displacement. Different particles will have different different displacement, different velocities, different accelerations, different forces, then it is said to be non-rigid body. For example, let me take this duster. So if I am applying some force, let us say duster is placed on my hand here. If I apply some force here, see, all the particles are experiencing the same force. That's why this particle traveled from here to here. See, this is the first particle. If I apply force, first particle reached here. But what about this particle? Nth particle will travel the same distance or displacement. Displacement will be same. Why? Because this is a rigid body. So whenever force is applied on rigid body, all the particles will experience same force, same acceleration, same velocity, same displacement. Whereas if you take this body, this cloth, if I apply force here, see here the particles are not moving along the same line. Instead, these particles are coming onto this particle. Let us say this is first particle, this is 10th particle. If I apply force, first particle is coming onto the 10th particle. Otherwise, if I keep this cloth like this, if I apply force, so here deformation takes place. So this is a flexible body. For flexible bodies, all the particles will not have same displacement, same velocity, same acceleration. So this is the difference between rigid and non-rigid bodies. If you take the rigid body will have translatory motion and rotatory motion. So how to find the difference between these two? Now, if you take this body is divided into 3 particles here, 3, another 3 in the second row, and 3 more here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is the first part. Now, let me take the same body here. A little bit bigger. So here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have taken the same body here, but here I am applying force here on this body. Due to the application of force, we know that as I am describing about the translatory motion, in the translatory motion, all the particles of the body will experience same force and will have same acceleration, same displacement, same velocity. So here the relative positions will not change. That means all particles will experience, number 1, same force. That is obvious because all particles are traveling same distance in the same time, and will have same velocity. How we can say all are having same velocity? Why? Because the displacement of each and every particle is same. This is x. For 5th particle this will be x only. For 7th particle this will be x only. So these are all same. So all particles will have experience same force and will have same velocity, as well as will describe or will travel same displacement. So this is in case of translatory motion. Now remember students, this is only for rigid body. If it is a non-rigid body, then this may be compressed, or it may be elongated, or it may rotate in another direction. So then relative positions will not change, may change. Here relative positions remains the same for translatory as a rotatory motion, because we are discussing about a rigid body. So relative positions remains same for translatory as well as rotational motion. Now in this case, let us say applying force here at one edge. So let us say it is rotating in this direction. So here, what is the new position of this one, as it is rotating about a fixed point? So this is the new position of this body. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So these are the new particles of this body, new positions of the particles of this body. Now in this case, you can observe this. what is the displacement of the first body? The distance travelled is this much. Distance travelled is this much. What is the distance travelled by second body? Same. Distance will be same. Third body, it will be same. The distance travelled will be same. Even for the seventh one, the displacement or the distance will be same. But what about the displacement here? So this is the first particle, this is the first particle, and this will be the displacement of this one. What about the displacement of the eighth one? So this for eighth one, the displacement will be less. It is clear that you see this line is almost coincident with this line, but this line is not coincident with this line. So this x1 is different to x8. Similarly for x4 it will be different. So x4 is different. That means different particles will have different displacements. So different particles will have different displacements. As they are different displacement in the same time, because the entire body moved from here to here in the same time interval, so they have different velocities. As velocity and displacements are different, what we can say, they are experiencing different force. That will come later. So here, if you observe this one, different particles are describing different circular paths. So this is the first circular path, describe first particle. This is second circular path. This is fifth circular path. This is eighth one. So different particles will describe different circular path about a fixed line or a fixed point. This is called a center of rotation, because these particles are rotating about this fixed point. So this is called a center of rotation. So here this is actually circular path, not rotatory motion, because the axis of rotation or center of rotation is not passing through the body. Let us say if you take the fan, the best example for this one is, this is a fan and these are the fan blades. So in this case, what we can say, the different particles will describe different circular paths. So the first one, second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one, sixth one, seventh one. So these are the parts of this body. So this body, this point which is not going to change its position. Particle 1 will change its position, and after some time this will come to this point. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So that means different particles will describe different circular paths. But all these are rotating about a fixed point. That fixed point is called center of rotation. So this is called center of rotation. The line that passes through the center of rotation, which is perpendicular to this plane of rotation. When the fan is rotating like this fan, the line which is passing through the center of rotation and perpendicular to the plane of the rotation is called axis of rotation. So this is called axis of rotation. Here the shaft is the axis of rotation. So what is this axis of rotation? A line that passes through, center of rotation and perpendicular to plane of rotation is called axis of rotation. Here, if you take one top here, let us say it is rotating about this line. So this particle will rotate in this circular path. This particle will rotate in this circular path. This particle will rotate in this circular path. For this circular path, this is the center. Similarly, for this circular path, this is the center. For this circular path, this is the center. So for this particle, it will rotate about a center of rotation. So all these center of rotations will lie along a line. So this is C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, C6 and so on. So this line that is passing through centers of rotation of all the particles, centers of rotations of all the particles, and also when it is rotating like this is called plane of rotation, and this line is perpendicular to the plane of rotation that we discussed there. So a line that passes through the centers of rotation of all the particles and perpendicular to the plane of rotation is called axis of rotation. If you see this one, when this is top is rotating about its own axis, if you take one more particle here, this will be rotation of this particle, so it will rotate in the circular path. So for this, let us say this is C10, and one more particle for this is the C11, C12. So all the particles of the body are rotating, but only the particles on this line are not rotating. So on the axis of rotation, the particles will not rotate. So all the other particles except the particles on this line will not rotate, and that line is called axis of rotation. This one, when I am rotating this one, this particle 1, 2, 3, 4 different particles are rotating in different circular paths, but the line, this line, let us say about which it is rotating, this is not rotating. So this line which is passing through this center of this body and perpendicular plane, this is the plane of rotation. The plane along which the rotation takes place is called plane of rotation. This horizontal line is plane is called plane of rotation. And what is the angle between this and this? So angle between this and this is exactly 90 degrees. So that's why here I am writing it is perpendicular to the plane of rotation and passing through the center of rotations of this one. For first particle, center of rotation is this. For second particle, center of rotation is this only. For third particle, center of rotation is this only. For fourth particle, center of rotation is this only. So for all these particles, not only 1, 2, 3, 4, if you take some other particles, and all these particles will rotate about the same point, and thus that is called axis of rotation. The line that passes through these centers is called axis of rotation. If this body is rotating about x-axis, so this is x-axis, that means this body is rotating about x-axis. But what is this? If it is x-axis, this is y-axis and this is z-axis, and this is called yz plane. So body rotating about x-axis in yz plane. So whenever a body rotates, this is x-axis. If a body is rotating about x-axis in this direction, so it is said to be rotating in yz plane. So body rotating about x-axis is said to have rotate in yz plane. That means it is rotating in yz plane. That means plane is perpendicular to axis of rotation. This is the axis of rotation. This plane is perpendicular to axis of rotation. Similarly, if body is not rotating about x-axis, let us say body is rotating about y-axis. So what is the plane of rotation? This is xz plane. So about y-axis means this is xz plane. So plane of rotation will be in xz. Similarly, if it is rotating about z-axis, then the plane of rotation will be about xy plane. Generally, if you take this one, the axis of rotation is constant, but the particles are rotating and the body is rotating. But if you see this, in some times generally the top while rotating can rotate like this. That means initially it was rotating like this, about this. After that it will rotate in this direction. That means it will rotate about that central line. So here this is the axis of rotation. So it is rotating about that one and rotating in a circular path. With this tip is in contact with the ground only. The tip of this one is in contact with ground. So it will rotate like this and like this. So here axis also rotating. Body as well as axis are rotating together. Then that motion is called precession. So precession. So precession is nothing but body as well as axis of rotation moves together. Axis of rotation moves together. This we can see in case of a top.